You know, there was a time in my life when I was young and stupid, as opposed to being old and stupid like I am now. During that time when I was young and stupid, I had the opportunity to pastor a small church, and we had the opportunity to renovate our facility. Now, I'm not a carpenter and I'm not a handyman, but I thought I ought to be able to help, right? I mean, this can't be that hard. So I went to the main carpenter and he gave me a huge pile of 2x4s. And he told me that I had to cut 3 inches off of each 2x4. So he made me a pattern. He cut it to length and he said, "Now, Jim, I have to leave, but be sure to use the pattern." I said, "Sure, I can do that." So I took the pattern and I laid it on a 2x4. I drew a line and I cut. I picked up the 2x4 I just cut, laid it on another 2x4, drew a line and cut. Picked up that 2x4, laid it on another 2x4, drew a line and cut. I did that over and over again until the entire pile was finished. Boy, was I proud of myself. I had accomplished something for my friend the carpenter. You know what happened? He came back. He looked at me and he said, "What did you do?" I said, "What do you mean, what did I do? I did what you told me to do." He said, "No, you didn't. You didn't use the pattern." I said, "Really? I did on the first one." He said, "Yes, and then you took that one, right?" He said, "Each time you made a cut shorter and shorter, and now you're 1 inch short at the end on the last 2x4. I was so embarrassed. I was so frustrated. I thought I had accomplished something great. You know, today we are working hard. We pour our hearts into the Church of Jesus Christ. Those who are full-time in ministry and those who sit in the pews. We all work hard to make the church what it needs to be. But as I talked about last week, we're sputtering, bleeding, bankrupt, and hated. That's frustrating. You know, this week, I'm not really knocking down any barricades in the post on the Journeys blog. I'm just simply sharing my heart, my passion for pastors and lay people alike who are caught in a system that doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is that we've patterned it after business practices, after organizational development practices and marketing practices of the 20th century. And we've forgotten the pattern that Jesus has given us. You know, I have pushed hard on the barricades in my past posts and videos, and rightfully so. You know, it takes a lot to knock over barricades. But I'm really not knocking people. I have a heart for the pastors. I have a heart for the people. We need to wake up. We need to ask ourselves, how did Jesus do it? And then ask ourselves, is that the way we're doing it? We need to ask ourselves, how did Paul imitate Jesus in his ministry? And then ask ourselves, is that the way we're doing it? Whether we're in the pulpit or whether we're in the pew, it's all about following Jesus. My heart's prayer, my desire, is that each of us will catch the vision of the pattern that Jesus left us so that we can truly glorify him. You know, he's our friend. He's the carpenter, but he's going to return. I just hope that your pile of 2x4s are in better shape than mine were for my first carpenter friend. So until next week, by God's grace, you go out there and you make it a fantastic week that honors and glorifies your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.